Hello and welcome to Lamine's Legacy episode number 7. I'm using DaVinci Resolve today, so I'm trying to learn a new editing software, which, my god, I'm absolutely terrible at recording and editing and all things to do with this side of it. So who knows if this is going to come out well. But I'm doing a voiceover because the gameplay audio was terrible. I still need to fix that for when I'm streaming and recording. But in episode number 7, we're going to cover FUT Champs, basically straight into the highlights of FUT Champs. You can see on screen that we're 5-1. We actually lost the first game, and I can't remember the last time I've lost the first game of FUT Champs. It's been literally years. But in Weekend League in FC26, yeah, I lost the first game, got outplayed, lost to a better player. It is what it is. I suppose I could have showed every single game because I did play all games on stream. But the video would have been too long, and with me needing to do a voiceover as opposed to just using the live com footage, I thought it was best to just limit the amount of games. So the games that you're watching are primarily highlights. As I've been talking, we're already up to 7-1. And yeah, so highlights is what you're seeing. I won't spoil what we finished on. I'll talk about the team and some players in the team and my thoughts on the weekend as the video progresses. And yeah, we'll sort of keep the finish a surprise, and hopefully it'll make the video more entertaining. But good weekend overall, not to give any spoilers. Really happy with the team that I used, really happy with 99% of the players. We played a 4-2-3-1-2, okay, it's the formation that's used primarily by the pros. It's a formation I used at the very start of the game before playing around with 4-4-1-1 and 4-5-1. But I think I switched to 4-2-3-1 from 5-1. I played a couple of games of 4-4-2, played a couple of games of 4-4-1-1, and just didn't feel like I was playing how I could play or wanted to play, and so I quickly sort of pivoted to 4-2-3-1-2, which is trusty and reliable. I am going to make a separate video to this with the tactics, talking about the specific roles and build-up style and depth and everything. So that anybody that is maybe struggling with tactics or want to test out the tactics that I used can go ahead and do so. But it's a 4-2-3-1, and I can roughly talk through the roles here because I've got plenty of time in this video. I think it's going to be around 30 minutes long. 4-2-3-1-2, we're using balanced or short passing. Sometimes I change them for the build-up style, and we're using 60 to 70 depth. Again, sometimes I change them. But either of those on the depth side of things. Keeper, just use whatever you've got pluses on. I'm just using goalkeeper. I don't think I bother with any of the other ones like sweeper keeper or maybe they have new roles this year, but I don't really change those. I'm not too bothered. Keepers are actually pretty good in this game. I think the most important thing for a keeper isn't the role. This year I don't even think it's the height, although it's always good to go with a tall keeper. I think primarily it's the save with feet trait. Okay, so go into their playstyles, have a look if they have footwork. I believe it's called footwork, but it's the one where they have save with feet animations anyway. For any of you that's been around for a while, you'll know that De Gea in like 17, I want to say, was like the best keeper in the game by far, and it was partly because of those animations. So yeah, save with feet, as long as your keeper has that, you're in a good stride. Right back, we used Marcus Llorente, so I guess I'll go back and tell you who my keeper was. It was Mamardashvili. Probably I don't know if he's the best keeper in the game because I haven't used Donnarumma yet, but he's amazing. If he fits in your team for chemistry, absolutely go pick him up for around 15k. But yeah, moving on to right back, you may know that I've packed a untradeable Llorente, and for me he's much more of a right back than he is a centre mid, and that's where I've been playing him. Absolutely flawless, couldn't fault him at all, didn't put a foot wrong all weekend. Incredible pace for recovery, more than good enough going forward, strong in tackle. Yeah, he's just a really good right back. My favourite one that I've used Frimpong in the draft. I haven't used him in an actual team. I haven't packed him nor bought him, but I don't see how he's better than Llorente, especially with the limited use of him in draft. I still prefer Llorente. For right back, I'm personally using fullback. Okay, I don't use attacking wing back or any of the other ones. Fullback, but what I'm doing differently, which I don't know if it'll remain the same, but this is what I played in Weekend League. I played with Versatile, which sort of like tucks in and creates a free back. I'll talk more about it in the tactic video, so stay tuned on the channel for that. But yeah, Versatile on a fullback. Two centre backs, Koundé and Kanate, both untradeable for me. Koundé is exceptional. He's just excellent. His pace is amazing, strength is amazing, good in the tackle, great passing, just a brilliant centre back. I know he might be the most expensive centre back other than Van Dijk, but worth every penny. If you have the coins or you have big budget, don't be afraid to pick Koundé up. Other centre back then I said was Kanate. I really just don't enjoy Kanate on this game. I don't think he offers what you need. I think when you have these really like strong, rugged centre backs this year, they just get walked around. He's not actually like strong enough in the challenge or sort of like just holding down ground for him to be used. I think Rudiger's much better if you've ever used or played against Rudiger as that type of centre back. But yeah, not my cup of tea at all. He's not being sold because he's untradeable, but he's getting out of the team, which is why I have to change away from Mamardashvili as well. So I won't be using him next weekend. My choice of who I'm going to swap to is Militao. I haven't bought him yet. I'll wait till next week, see if we make some coins in Rivals rewards. But Kanate isn't doing it for me, and I'm swapping him. Defender on both of those. Okay, I know Koundé has ball playing defender plus, but I just think defender is the best role. I'm not really too bothered if people have pluses or pluses in it, but that's what I use. In those centre back positions, in my opinion, you're looking for two play styles, and the first is intercept. At least Silva. I just think it's the best this year. It's not just my opinion. It's come from players much better than me. It's come from pro players, but the intercept really does give you an extra layer of protection this year, unlike other years. It's not that it was bad in other years. It just wasn't super important. Like for me, Bruiser was amazing last year. I really liked it as I play advanced defending, where you essentially on PS you spam X. I can't remember what Xbox button it is, but it's the bottom one. And they essentially just shoulder barge them and win the ball that way. That's kind of poor this year. So the other option then is to go for intercept. If you've ever played against Marquinhos, you know he's excellent, despite not really being meta in previous FIFAs. He's never been a bad card, but he's never been an elite card, and I do think this year he is an elite card. So intercept is the one that I think you should prioritise. Anticipate is another one that you should prioritise, but I wouldn't say it's rare, but it is tougher to get an anticipate on a defender. They tend to be the more expensive centre-backs. But another one that you can get this on like cheap cards like a Vardiol, for example, is block. Again, silver or gold, it doesn't matter. Araujo is another example of a quality centre-back that has block as a playstyle. I really do think that if you can prioritise intercept and block, you'll have a solid back line. Left back, we use Mendy. Now, in every other year, the guy is a joke. He's so good. Whenever you pack a Mendy, you're either super happy because you've made 100k, or you're very happy that he's untradeable and going straight into your team. I really don't like him this year. I've been fortunate enough to pack him untradeable. I just don't rate him. He's not the same Mendy. I know he still has really good physical, but I don't find that is true in game. I don't really agree that is 84 physical. I'm not sure of the exact strength stat in game, but it just doesn't feel that way. Yeah, he's quick and he recovers relatively well, but he also just is terrible in a tackle. I find his dribbling's poor, his agility and balance, so he gets beat just way too much. And for me, he's just not a card I want to use much more. I probably will because I don't want to buy Bolde whilst he's out of packs. I think he comes back into packs Friday, so I'll probably wait for his price to drop a bit before picking him up. But I enjoyed Bolde when I had him because I bought him at the start of the game. And he's much better than Mendy in my opinion. I can't really use Theo because I don't have a way to get Theo Cam. And I don't really want to drop 150k on Nuno Mendes, although in my opinion from playing against, Nuno Mendes is clear of all the other left backs. So yeah, if you have big coins again, big budget, Marquinhos and Nuno would be brilliant to play on that left hand side of defense. You can look differently then on the right side. Yeah, that's sort of it for the back line. Again, I used versatile fullback for left back, so two versatiles. I think the idea is that you would play one versatile in order to create like this back three, but I thought I'd just try two out. It wasn't, again, fully my idea, but I can't give credit to whose idea it was because I can't remember the Twitter page. But I think it was like a competitive player who had some luck with it, and I thought, you know what, why not? Like, we'll try it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I didn't really find any issues with using Too Versatile. I couldn't outright say it's a must use because I didn't really feel like that was the case, but I certainly didn't suffer as a result of using it. Two CDMs then, as we scored a lovely goal with Yamal there at 10 and 1. Yeah, CDMs, we're using Patry. It's like one of the first cards I bought. Yamal being the first card I bought, with it being, a series based around him. But that was the card that we bought, maybe second. But Patry, 10 out of 10 CDM. I know the pros aren't using her, they're going more De Jong and Rangers. But I think that's to do potentially with their sort of rating requirements and not being able to use a certain amount of 89 rated cards. And I think that could be hindering her pro usage, as they're favouring De Jong and Rangers are 87 and 86. She's obviously a lot higher rating than them. She's just brilliant because she offers so much defensively compared to most centre mids, but also has that like really good passing that you usually see on more like attacking centre mids. She's just an excellent all-round central player. Like, it doesn't matter if you're going to use a centre mid or CDM, you can get away with either. She's just quality, and I don't see her leaving my team unless we pack something like a De Jong untradeable. Then yeah, she's going to be staying. She's excellent. That's deep line playmaker on build up, I believe, is the role. You can use holding, defend. It's no problem, but I'm using two deep line playmakers and I'm using them both on build up. The trick this year isn't in the CDM roles, in my opinion. It's in how you use the CDMs when you lose the ball. It's not skillful in the slightest. It ruins the game, to be honest. But when you get that ball turned over, it doesn't matter if it's towards a halfway line or it's right on the edge of the 18-yard box of your opponent. Your first switch should be with the right stick into the centre mid, and it should be dragging it right back into position. That should be how you actually navigate, essentially defending with your players this year. So that's how you actually use your CDMs this year. You don't expect them to track back the way that maybe you would like, or hold positions in the way that you would like, especially when you use the build-up role. It generates them to go forward a little bit more. But what you need to do is, upon turnover of ball, you need to be so quick to get them back into position, and that's really how you sort of have the first line of defense this year. I'll take a quick break in between the two CDMs just to highlight the gameplay here. We find ourselves down 3-1. Guy was a good player. I think I conceded some sloppy goals. I wasn't too happy with the chip that you would have saw that just went in. I felt like I played that really well to bait bringing him out. I felt like I brought him out enough as to where he had time to recover and get back in, but the goal goes in, and that's absolutely fine. It is what it is. And we, a few minutes later, go up and get a penalty. We slot that away, which I think if he saves that penalty, then that's game over. But we do really well to sort of score the goal there. And then just play with a bit of composure. Plenty of times in the past, it's me raging, shouting, screaming, moaning, coming up with excuses, blaming the game. But when you're on stream, you sort of, I don't know, it feels a little bit embarrassing to act like that, and so I just kind of compose myself, play my game. You can say whatever you want about 26, but FC26, the game isn't over until you quit or the final whistle blows. You can come back from anything. And a bit of a spoiler, but that's what you're watching here. You're watching a 3-1 comeback from like 75th minute through to the 90th. We do come back, we do get this win, and we move on to 12-1. Hopefully you're enjoying the gameplay footage and maybe learning a sort of thing or two about how to dribble and sort of how to finish. But yeah, moving back to the other CDM, Toni Kroos. He was my pre-order icon. I was happy to get him. I didn't think he'd be a card I'd use for very long. I was just like, oh, that'd be cool, and maybe I'll use him again when he gets his upgrade. But he's really underrated. Like, do you want a 70-pace CDM in the game? Not really. But there isn't a ton of amazing fast CDMs, and as you go down the De Jong and Reinders route sort of thing. And again, they're not rapid, they're just faster than someone like Toni Kroos. But he has all the passing that you need. He does miss out on pinged silver, which would be amazing. That would be a complete card if he had that passing play style. But he has ticky, he has long ball, he has incisive, he has base intercept, which is very important. And he's just a great card. Again, if I pack a untradeable Reinders, if I pack an untradeable De Jong, untradeable special card to come out, maybe like that 2 around the same cornerstones. Kroos probably doesn't stay very long, but between his icon chemistry and his actual ability in game, I've got no desire to get rid of him anytime soon. So if he stays for quite some time, I'm happy with that, and that would be completely okay. Again, deep line playmaker build up. Won't rehash everything I said about Patry. The same thing applies. On to the final and front four now then. This week we're with Yamal. Well, we will always be with Yamal. It's a series around him. He just really is a 10 out of 10 right mid. The less that you run with Lamine Yamal, the better that you'll get. The more rewards you'll get essentially in game. He is exceptional when it comes to the dribbling. He is exceptional at creating space. He is exceptional at beating his man. When you're actually dribbling, when you are left stick, if you're going to run, he's going to get caught up, especially if you're playing against the Nunos and the Theos, even the Baldays. They're essentially gonna pocket him. But if you slow the game down a little bit, he can get past all of them with ease. Brilliant card. Really happy to be doing a series around him. Building up some coins for when he inevitably gets some sort of upgrade, whether it's for a performance-based promo or whether it's just a generic promo. We'll obviously be upgrading to the next card. But yeah, excellent card, and for like just under 300k, I think if you have 300k, which I know is a lot for a lot of people, go ahead and spend the coins. Very, very, very worth it. Left mid, we'll use the weakest player in the team in the Dolan card that you got from winning the early access tournament. I do have to be transparent and say that he didn't play all of my games. He didn't feature in the first 6 because I was testing out Nico Williams. I picked up a loan from some objective at some point in the start of the game, and I used him for the first 6. To be honest, I can't really work out Nico Williams just yet. I don't think I'm quite using him correctly. He's obviously in all the pros teams, so he's obviously a good card. I know some of them are using him on the right, some of them are using him on the left. For me, it would always be on the left. I don't know if I'm going to buy him. I feel like I should, but I'm still sort of stuck between Nico or Salma. And I wasn't completely sold by the loan of Nico, so that's still up for debate. But inside forward on Dolan would be inside forward on Nico. On balanced specifically, we don't play him on attack. If I need them to get forward, I can get them forward with L1. I would rather use L1 to send them and create space than have to consistently either play a lock or press R1 to drag them short. I much prefer the starting position of an inside forward on balanced. Dolan was okay, he does the job, to be honest. You can play with a card like Dolan, especially when he's surrounded by the other caliber of players. It's just you wouldn't want a Dolan in every position. So final 2 then, which the 2 most impactful players in my team, and obviously it's always going to be the case when you're talking about your attackers. My central attacker midfielder in Messi, you've probably seen quite a lot of highlights from him, whether it's assists or goals. It's just his base card because he doesn't have any other card just yet. But I've put the Cornerstones Evo on him, which is what you get, or what you got for completing the gauntlet when you essentially won all 3 matches and unlock Kudus. It came as a bonus reward with that. Yeah, it essentially put it on any card in the game. It has no rating limits or requirements. And it gets Cornerstone chemistry. Now, for someone like Messi, if anyone's using Messi, you're probably using him alongside DePaul, who isn't a bad starter card and essentially allows you to get good chem. I don't want to be using DePaul, especially when I have Cruz and Patry, but I do want to use Messi because he's incredible. And so I did that, and then with a manager, Argentinian manager from MLS, he's full chem, and I don't have to worry about bringing anyone else in, especially with Toni Kroos's icon chem. So I play him as a playmaker, I believe. Sometimes it might be shadow striker. I don't really notice the difference between the 2 roles, if I'm honest, which may sound bad, but I just genuinely don't. He feels like, to me, like the best version of Messi we've had in a FIFA, which is like his worst ever card, but his impact in game is like the best ever. Yeah, he might seem slow, but you just want that burst of acceleration, which he has because he does have quick step and he does have good acceleration. You just want that tight dribbling on the left stick, exactly like Yamal. You have brilliant finishing, you have brilliant passing. Having Tiki, technical, incisive, finesse in cam is like so important. It doesn't matter whether it's for him or any of your other cams, but you do need to be prioritising from the shooting playstyles, either a finesse or a low driven. From the passing, incisive and Tiki. Even better if you can get a pinged in there, although it's only Bon Mati in the game that has all 3. And then you need to be prioritising technical as well. So I think a lot of players are starting to use like Lavelle if they're using Swanson or Wilson or Rodman. Lavelle's another good cam. But yeah, that was who I used at cam. Absolutely excellent. I don't know if I show the stats at the end, but he has like, I don't know because I played like 4 games of rivals with him prior to champ, so I don't know the exact like ratio. But he has like 24 goals, 34 assists in 19 games. And like I said, 15 out of 19 of that is champs, and the other would be Division 3 gameplay. So it's not like it's bad caliber. The guy's just incredible. And then we have the star of the show, uh, Pina. So Claudia Pina, the Barcelona woman's, she comes out as a left wing, but she's being used at striker by almost everyone. I wanted to try her out when she was like 7k, and I'd just seen on Twitter people saying like this is such an unreal card. How the hell is it 7k? And I didn't bother out of laziness. And then she went up to 10, and then all of a sudden she was extinct. And I thought, right, I don't care what she goes up to. When she gets unextinct and the price range gets updated, we're gonna pick her up and we're gonna test her out. And I picked one up for 18k right as I think I was online within like an hour of it going live. The price range update that is, and we picked one up for like 18k. I think she's like 80 at the time of recording. Just what a card, just so broken. The low driven plus just means that any finish goes in as long as it's low driven. In fact, I don't know if she has finesse base, but she shoots like she does. The fact that she has incisive and ticky silver just means that you can actually link up with people so well. Like Yamal, like Messi, the left stick is just a joke. You can just twist and turn anyone, especially when they're using big centre halves that are stocky. That's why I'm moaning about Kanate earlier in the video, because he doesn't, like, if Pina comes up against Kanate, I just wiggle and I'm gone. I just do the run the foot markets, spin on a circle. They just spin, and it's game done. Her goal record was something daft. I'm not even going to attempt to recite it because I'll probably get it dramatically wrong, but just goal after goal after goal after goal. Absolutely exceptional card. Just try it out. Just try it out, especially if you can get links to her with maybe some of the untradables you have. Is she worth the 80,000? Yes, like probably worth. This card's probably, and I'm not even exaggerating, it's probably a 200k card, maybe even like a 300k card. She outperforms. Out of the cards I've used that are like what you would consider good cards, she outperforms Gyökeres by far. She outperforms Marmouche by far. I think she's better than Diani, which is an expensive striker. She's, I'd love to be able to say that I've used Dembele and Mbappe, and I haven't. But there's a reason that some of the best players in the world are choosing a 70k striker over a 2+ million coin card, and that is largely because of how good she is in game and what she offers. There's not many cards like her. So yeah, pick up Peanut if you find yourself in a position to do so. You will not regret it. Really, really do recommend it. Coming to the end here of the highlights, Lionel Messi for a goal. Really, really sloppy finish. I'm putting a lot more power on now than what the game sort of gives for the animation. But yeah, it rolls in. Either way, goal's a goal. Doesn't matter. I think we finished the game right here. 5... Was it 4-2? Okay, so the game's not quite over. Looks like we've got still a bit of time to play. But as you've been watching, we're heading up towards the 14-1 finish. 14-1 for weekend number 1. My best ever week 1 finish. Not my best ever finish, as I got 14 a couple of times last year. I think twice, if I'm being completely honest. It wasn't loads. And yeah, definitely happy with the performance, especially as I played games 7 through to 15 in one sitting. Really composed, really smart with the way I played the game, really effective, really efficient. And as you can see from the defending here, really sweaty, as it just has to be done, doesn't it? If you want to get good records and you want to try and play for the win, you're going to have to do what the game requires you to do, which unfortunately in 26 is defend like an arsehole, if we're just going to be transparent. But yeah, 14-1 after losing the first game as well, which, I said in the live comm, I wish I actually could have showed it. Going into this final game, I said either you get 13-2 and you're happy because it's like 13-2 is an amazing finish, or you go 14-1 and you sulk that, well, why didn't I get why did I have to lose the first game? Why couldn't I be on for 15? But stuff happens, doesn't matter. You move on. 15-14. I think there's like I think there's an 8410, and instead of a triple 86, you get a triple 88, and I think maybe another Cornerstones pack. There's a fair difference between rank 2 and rank 1. It would have been nice to get a rank 1, but that's what we'll push for next week. That's what we'll push for in future weeks. Although, don't be surprised if we come crashing down to reality and we pick up more of 11 and 12 wins either, as people get better teams and get better at the game. Could even out a bit, because I'm under no illusion that my team is pretty good. So the rewards, as you've seen on the screen, 10 times 84, 10 times 83, 6 times 84, 3 times 86, 3 times 83 plus team of the week, 1 cornerstones and 65,000 coins. Not a bad run out, obviously compared to previous years. Pretty terrible for a rank 2 finish, but for this year, obviously it's much better than what you get for any of the other ranks. 3 team of the weeks, they're what I'm just going to call discard team of the weeks, but they go in a transfer list because there's no point selling team of the weeks when they're at discard. We've got to wait for them to have some actual demand, and we'll either sell them on or we'll use them if they become expensive and we don't have untradables. I can't remember exactly what pack went next. I think maybe we go Cornerstones. Yeah, we do go Cornerstones. I will give you the spoiler. Jordan Pickford. So, yeah, not a card I plan on using. I think he does have saber feet though, and he has good reflexes, good dive in. This for me is I'm just going to refer to cards like this as gauntlet cards. You're 85 rated, so I'm not going to put you in an SBC. But you're going to be way better than some 81 Pope that I pick up whenever a gauntlet comes up. So whilst, it's not the card that you want to go pick up Pina Cornerstones, you want to pick up Ball Day Cornerstones, you're happy to get it in the long run, I think, but disappointed in the short run and in the short term. 6 times 84 then we get a walkout. Lots of walkouts in these packs, but without spoiling it, not the type of walkouts that you want to get after performing to a 14-1 finish. But as you can see, we pick up Endler, 88, no double, so just Endler in this pack, followed by what again I consider to be discards. They're fodder discards, aren't they? They obviously be an 84 plus, they'll have value in the long term, but again in the short term not necessarily. Then we go across to our 10 times 83 plus. I think we finish 10 83 plus, 10 84 plus, and then the 86 plus to finish off. Here we get a Polish striker from La Liga. It can only be one, Lewandowski. Again, for an 88 rated card, he's essentially going to be discard. He's going to be fodder. No double, so we skip the pack, and yeah, we move on. There's nobody lingering in that pack, as you can see. There's no danglers that will give you the ability to sell. There's no Frimpongs, there's no Van der Vens. I don't even know if Van der Ven could be in that pack. Is he 82 or is he 83? But you get the point. None of those low rated cards that do have high prices. Pack of promo here. It's nice to get promos. It's bit of extra pack luck, but not the promo that we're necessarily looking for. It is a double here. You can see we pick up Williamson, centre back for Arsenal women's team, and we pick up Stiller. So I'm going to call him a gauntlet card again. Yeah, he has Tiki Plus, which is incredible. He's going to be a nice gauntlet card. We pick up an untradeable inform, and we actually have a Marmouche at the back of the pack, and this is what I mean by a dangler. A card that doesn't walk out, but is of value. Because he's untradeable, he's a gauntlet card, and I'm probably going to repeat that throughout the year. If you get untradables that don't go in your main team, but aren't super high rated to be considered fodder, they become gauntlet cards. Like Williamson, for example, in the previous pack, that's a fodder card. That's not being used in the gauntlet. Final pack, Karchawi is the initial walkout, followed by Bukayo Saka as the second walkout. Karchawi's a good pull. I think I've got 55k for her. Really saved the rewards, because if we're being honest, these rewards are terrible. Kanate as well. That's nice. 20k. So we made 75k from tradable cards. But that's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Goodbye.